You know how memories you have as a child are very different when you revisit those memories as an adult? This is definitely the case with Springtime with Rue. Now, I hadn't actually ever seen this as a child. I remember looking fondly at the marketing and at the DVD cover. I loved how purple it was. But I don't remember ever having seen it. But I have started to slowly realise that my memory of Rabbit as a character is not currently how I feel about Rabbit. I've watched several Winnie the Pooh films recently that I hadn't seen, Heffalump, this one, just trying to catch up with some of those films that I missed as a child. And Springtime with Rue has very much grounded my opinion that Rabbit is actually an absolute pain and is often the source of the moral messages in the film. Certainly the case here. Winnie the Pooh Springtime with Rue was released in 2003, if you can believe that. Directed by Saul, Blinkoff and Elliot M. Bour. Written by Tom Rogers, of course, based on the stories by A.A. Milne. And we have our usual fabulous voice cast: Jim Cummings as Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, of course. Ken Sansom as Rabbit, Jimmy Bennett as Rue, David Ogden Stiers as our brilliant narrator, Kath Soucie as Kanga, John Fiedler as Piglet, and Peter Cullen as Eeyore. I don't remember Eeyore being that depressive. I really don't. I remember him being glum, but I don't remember him being quite so verging on suicidal. It's ridiculous how the memory changes things. And that certainly happened with Rabbit, which I'll talk about in a moment. But basically, this is what I believe to be Rue's second Easter. I don't think Rue would have been 2 years old. I would have thought it would have been like maybe 4 or 5. But it's a second Easter. He's very much looking forward to it. But Rabbit, for no known reason, cancels Easter. I don't know why Rabbit is in charge of Easter. But Rabbit says today is spring cleaning day, and he tries to encourage everybody to go about doing spring cleaning, not even acknowledging the fact that Easter exists. And I'm not going to say why, because that's kind of one of the big reveals. And then that gives us some moral lessons, and we get to have a deeper look into why Rabbit may be hiding his true feelings. That was interesting enough because it showed that even though this person was being outwardly quite negative, they did have a reason their feelings were hurting. Even though the reason their feelings were hurting, I don't think were fair. I think Rabbit certainly overreacted and was a bit big-headed and selfish and full of himself. And I don't remember Rabbit being that way. But with the few films that I've watched recently, that's definitely the case. And I'm really strongly disliking Rabbit. Love what he brings to the show. He adds a lot of, messages and lessons to teach younger children. But he's not a nice person. He does look cute, though, when he's got a hat on with his ears down his back. When his ears are floppy and under the hat. Absolutely adorable. Love that piece of animation. There are some really nice songs in this. Not too many. I think there are maybe 3 at a push. It's just over an hour. It's very engaging, very entertaining to watch. And I think there's enough in there to captivate a young mind. I do think that the bit where, I'm trying to work out how to say it without spoiling it, but the bit when they go into the storybook, I like that. I enjoyed that animation. I kind of enjoyed that breaking of the fourth wall a bit further. There are a couple of times when they interact with the narrator, and I always love that. I really adore that about Winnie the Pooh, because it does make it more personal for the child watching. It feels like everybody's interacting with one another and they're all listening to the story together. And that's something that I think is very, very sweet. There was something else that I was going to say, and annoyingly, I cannot remember what it is. So it mustn't have been important. Springtime with Rue is adorable. It's not what I would have expected based on what I would have thought it was about. Mainly, it's not really about Rue. It's more about Rabbit. Rue maybe is the catalyst here, but Rue is not in it as much as one would expect. But I still really liked it. Not the best, not my favourite Pooh film, but it's got a lot going for it. Quite sweet. Really changing my opinion about Rabbit here, but I still really quite enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. If you missed this one when you were growing up and you were a fan of Winnie the Pooh, give it a go. It's sweet, it's heartwarming, And ultimately, there's nothing wrong with it.